Hello, folks. It's Mad Dog Merv, and welcome to part two of building the Boot Hill Express. Now, if you haven't seen part one, great, check it out. If you have seen it, go back and check it out again. I had to make an edit in there because, well, I made a couple of mistakes. Anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to work on the carpet, and the drapes, and we're going to continue to work on the wood. So, without further ado,
okay, for the curtains, it's Quaintons. What we're going to use is some Mephiston Red from Citadel. You can use whatever you want. I think it's like a dark gray color in the model with kind of a tan, the little frizzy things here. I am going a different direction because this thing needs some red in it. No, I'm not trying to make a Dracula mobile, but I gotta tell you, it may wind up that way with the colors I want to use, because I do want definitely something vibrant and contrasting. So no, I'm not doing a build straight from the box. And I've decided for the tires and wheels, we're gonna make a big change. We're gonna do an upgrade, a real big upgrade. Nice thing about the acrylic is if I goof up, I can remove it easily enough. Like right there. Get off my gold. Okay. I gotta touch this little bit right here. I went ahead and did this side so you can get the idea there. And like I said, I am going to do the back side of it, just in case it shows through. Okay, here's our curtains. But they're not finished. That's just the base coat. Okay, I'm going to take this Q-tip dipped in alcohol. And that's how I'm going to remove the excess red from where I goofed. But because there's an enamel underneath, it shouldn't harm that enamel at all. Okay, got it off. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you here on the wood. So yeah, that's not a bad looking wood. We're going to give it some AK wash for wood. And this is an enamel wash. So I better get out my odorless thinner just in case. First thing we're going to do is the headstone. We are going to wash this headstone. And let it sit, because what that's going to do, that's going to get down into our cracks and crevices. Same with this. But I don't want to get it anywhere else right now, that's for sure. Have to be careful. So that's kind of like a wash, if you will, to like when I use Larry's bath water or some of these others. Like this wash that I've used on my my figures. This is a wash specifically for colors that make it look more like wood. This gets us our dark tones in there. the back side here. And this, I don't mind having a brush stroke look to it because it's supposed to be wood. So, okay, is there any? Oh yeah, there's still some wood on the floor here. Yeah, I'm going against the grain. How about that? Guess I should go with the grain. Oh no, I got it on my gold. It'll be fine. Put it with a little odorless thinner and pull it right off there. I'm going to let this dry thoroughly. And this temperature probably 20 minutes. For most of the rest of you, that means probably, an hour or so. Oh, there we go. Kind of get the wash the consistency that I want it to be. Okay. There's our wash for wood. Okay, continuing on with the curtains. I'm going to use, this is a contrast paint, Doomfire Magenta. And what I'm going to do, it's a bit thinned, and let me just pull this off of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the lower part of the curtains here. The fringe, or whatever the heck it's called, because it's fringe. And I'm going to go over it with this to just change that red to a little bit darker color. Before we go on to the next step after that. Okay. See, there's a little bit of a contrast there. Okay, I'll finish this last one off camera. Okay, so first for my highlight on the wood, I'm going to try some of this Mission Models Dunkelgelb. We'll see how that goes. My dry brush is malfunctioning. I don't know what the heck's wrong with it. I'm trying to get it cleaned out right now, but definitely not having a good time with it. So I'm going to use my flat brush as my dry brush. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to go along the grain very lightly to just pick up those highlights that are on the grain. It's still going to give us some multi-tone in the wood. And then I just do it till I feel like it looks good to me. Right there I gotta kind of go against the grain because of where it is. See how nice that technique changes the wood, gives you a little bit of a grain to it. It still looks old and worn. So I'm happy with the results there. Hopefully that's something that looks okay to you guys. Take it off there. It's going to drive me nuts. I don't know, what do you think? So far so good. I think I'm going to go over it with a very light gray, or maybe add some light gray to this tan. Let's see how I feel about that, but I do want to lighten this up just a little bit more on some of the highlights. And particularly the edge. Okay, so I'll come back here in a minute with a little bit lighter color, but you can see it definitely makes that pop. And then let's put some grain into this. If I don't like it, which I don't right there, what I'm going to do is I'll come back with some of that enamel wash again and darken that area up. After all these years, I'm not an expert on dry brushing. I mean, I know how to do it, but it takes some patience and takes a bit of practice so that you don't overdo it. Okay, there's that. So I've taken some Vallejo Model Air aged white, mixed it in a little bit with that tan, and let's see. Hit my highlights first. definitely brought that to life. So I think I'm going to keep it there. Again, if you don't like that, you can go back over it with your dark wash, or even a black or dark gray wash to darken things up. But I think I like the results where that is right there. That. I like the way this looks pretty much already, so we're going to leave it at that. Okay. So I'm going to take this this gold. I can't remember what it is, but you can see it's more of a reddish, coppery looking gold. Glorious gold from Vallejo Game Color, but you could use an enamel if you want. It's totally up to you. I just wouldn't use that same gold that I painted the car with, as you can see, because here's what I painted the car with, and here's the glorious gold. It is pretty glorious. This is a acrylic, and I'm just applying it with a brush here. And you might need to come back and make a second coat. That's completely up to you, depending on the coverage you want, how you want it to look. But check that out. Isn't that cool? Yeah, quick and easy, and it looks good. The difference in just painting it, say, one color and then throwing a little wood tone on it, this is, in my opinion, definitely much better. Okay, you've seen me do this technique before. You don't see me do it on a lot of automotive builds, but we're going to do it on this one. So what I'm doing is I'm getting out my sludge wash, my enamel wash, NATO Camo Vehicles. It's kind of a grayish sludge wash. And which brush do I want to use? I think we will use this one. Kind of an older brush. It's seen better days. It's a double aught. And what we're going to do is we're going to brush the curtains. It's Quaintance for you, Louis Quaintance. To get down into all. The reason I'm doing this on here and before assembly is I don't want it running down like that. I want it to settle down into the lower areas. Okay. Get our tassels too. Okay, now on these, I guess they're lanterns. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they are. But this decorative part up here, same thing. We're going to give it a sludge wash. I'm not going to hold it up in the air. Give it a good sludge wash all the way around. Flip it and get this side. And make sure we get the back side of our tassels. All right, we're gonna let this dry, and we'll come back. Okay, now that we have, now that it's dry, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to take some of this, it's an acrylic Damon Red. It's kind of a reddish orange. You can do whatever color you want. This is just one that I have, and I've used it before, and I love it for doing this. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of get it mostly off of my brush, and we're going to dry brush this area right here. Just the highlights of the tassels and the fringe, or whatever you want to call it, on the curtain. More right there than I wanted. I can remove it if I want, but I'm not. Don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave it. Now we're going to go over the rest of the curtain with it real quick. Just again, just a light dry brush to pick up the highlights on the texture. There compared to there. Now, if I'm not quite happy with how it is, if I want it a little bit lighter, I'll go back to my, and I could use any of my reds. I'll start with this one. Now, if you add white to a red, it's not going to lighten it up. You're going to get pink. I want pink. So we're going to add a little bit of orange, a little bit more orange, I should say, to this to lighten it up. A little bit more. Okay, so there's that compared to this one.